of harmony. Fear is the loss of harmony. Fear is responsible for 90% or so of illness on this planet. And therefore, a lack of love is really the problem we must deal with. And if I was going to give anybody a medication,
Yeah.
it would be in the form of an energy called love, because love is healing.
Right. And, so much to me when I watch doctors, sort of argue, and because I love family and I run a family nonprofit, and I coach parents and their kids, I help them find their innate intelligence, let them all be true to themselves while teaching the parents how to maintain their authority, quote unquote, yuck, yuck. And so it's like, I have learned in my work, and I've been blessed to be on a men's team with people like John Gray, who wrote, Men Are from Mars, Women from Venus, and other great men who write books about relationship. The one thing we always come to agree on is that primates are playful. We forget that we talk about getting educated mind on the way. We forget that we're playful. And if humans could be more playful again, I think the love naturally arises from there. I think families would be healthier, that's for sure. Chiropractors, would get along better. The whole world would get along better. That was the last thing I just really wanted you to speak to, is about playfulness, humor, I like to call it, where we're not thinking so much, we're just being more spontaneous. If you could just sort of, make that your last thing about how we need to really love and be playful and enjoy and not overthink all the stuff.
Yeah. Well, one of the most important things to understand is this, is that there are two, a biological system, a cell or a whole body, can express either of two mutually exclusive states, meaning they can't be in at the same time. One is called growth and one is called protection. You can't be in both at the same time.
Right.
Growth, by definition, is going to a stimulus, open arm, taking it in, assimilation. Growth is move to a stimulus, open, assimilation. Protection is move away from a stimulus, close yourself down, and block yourself from the outside. What's the point? I can't move forward toward a stimulus and backwards to a stimulus at the same time. I cannot be open to assimilate a stimulus and close to a stimulus at the same time. Therefore, growth and protection are mutually exclusive. Protection is based on the concept that we are under threat of some kind. And therefore, as we grow up as children, we first come into the world open and loving, and so enjoy and just experiencing all the sensory awareness that's coming into this new biology with such excitement and such bravado and such joy about being alive. And then we're programmed with fears.
Right.
Fear that, oh, there won't be enough love, there won't be enough support, there won't, your survival is in question. And at some point, the fears outnumber the joys. And when the fears outnumber the joys, the system can only respond by shutting itself down, because protection is to protect me from fear.
Yes.
And the moment I start shutting myself down is the moment that health is totally compromised. Why? Because health is a continuous interchange with the world. You cannot survive with yourself closed down. Very simply, when we were living in the days where we expected the Russians to bomb us, we built bomb shelters. And I say, well, think about it this way. A community is in growth. The summer, it's beautiful. The weather is beautiful. Things are growing. The community is growing. The kids are thriving. Everything is going great. And an air raid siren comes off. I say, what does it mean? I say, at the moment the air raid siren comes off, everybody stops what they're doing and then gathers and goes down underground to hide in the bomb shelter to protect themselves. Growth is, I'm outside being open. Uh-oh, fear, go into the bomb shelter. And I go, in our conventional tests, you go into the bomb shelter 10 minutes and then there's an all clear, and then so we did the exercise, no problem at all. But I say, what would be the consequence if the air raid siren went off and we went all into the bomb shelter and there was no all clear? And the answer is, you will die. Why? You can only put so much stuff on the ground to support yourself. When you run out of air, food, and water, you're going to die.
Right.
And the reality is, the fears that we are living with are not just short little fears, they're chronic. We find ourselves in a bomb shelter continuously every day. And every day in that bomb shelter, we are closing ourselves down, walling ourselves off from the world, which by definition is going to lead to death.
Right. That's the chronic stress, exactly. The chronic stress. That over-identification. The quantum perspective is that You know, you can have a doctor of chiropractic, you, me, anybody can have money issues, relationship issues, all sorts of issues, and still be happy. All these things, because if you know how to be happy, if you know yourself and you know how to relax your mind, there could be stressful things occurring and you can remain calm. You can be loving and have stressful things going on. So I'm just trying, you know, to tie all that in, that people often say, well, you don't understand, Dr. Schillinger, my wife this, my husband that, my money that. All those things don't require us going into that bomb shelter. We can relax ourselves and face all that, and still be loving and playful and energetic. And what I find in my work, and certainly my own process, that the more I stay true to me, those stresses, the intensity of that chronic stress just fades away. It doesn't kill me anymore because it's real. I'm dealing with it while I'm maintaining and strengthening my signal of joy and happiness.
Well, I mean, the fear is a projection of something that hasn't happened, and if you start living in that projection, then you've already manifested it, whether it happened or not.
Absolutely.
And so the idea of fear is it's not that to be foolish and ignore something, but the idea is not to live in it either. It's to recognize it exists and recognize as a creative individual you can find yourself around anything.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
You have that freedom to create outside of the fear.
True, I agree. And
you are the fear. You
right.
are the fear. Fear is the exact translation of I am out of control. I am now in protection. I have walled myself off. And as a result of that, I am no longer going to sustain my survival as long as I stay in this fear, because it's the fear which it causes the stress, which then is responsible for 90% or more of the illnesses on this planet. So I don't need to change your biology chemically, physically. I just need to have you understand that you are not operating from your full potential. You're operating from an educated mind, which by definition in the world we live is really a miseducated mind, and therefore no longer supportive of our survival, our health, and our happiness.
Beautiful. You know, first of all, I'm just having so much gratefulness for the time you're taking with us as chiropractors. I love that we always bring it back to what I love the term with D.D. Palmer, remarkable energy. When I think about my yoga teachers and Buddhist teachers and all my teachers, East and West, it all comes down to energy. I like to use the term, I'm responsible for being the chief energy officer, the CEO of my life. And I know that you're motivated by and get energy from all your remarkable energy. It gives you energy, it allows you to receive more wisdom. So you're a living example. I know that about you. I know I'm feeling that effect in my own life where it just gets easier as I get older. I feel brighter and happier and calmer. What a miracle. About everything. And I really pray for that for the profession and our patients, that we really do take the lead as the wellness leaders. And the work that you're doing really gives us that scientific, substantial evidence that we've been thinking right the whole time. Now we have the science brought to us by people like yourself. So I just want to thank you for the entire profession. Thank you so much for all you're bringing, and I truly look forward to having you, certainly as a result of my efforts in the future, getting deeper into the chiropractic community. So thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Mark, and I want to thank you and especially the chiropractic community, because upon recognition of the philosophy, owning it as the innate awareness of what chiropractic is all about, and getting away from the miseducated version of chiropractic opens up chiropractic to be the healing source, a center of wellness where people come to realign and adjust their lives, not just adjust their body, but adjust their mind and consciousness to support this body.
Exactly.
And your work to me is really the essence of taking chiropractic from a mechanical adjustment into a healing art. And that's why I want to thank you for offering me an opportunity to talk to your community, but I also want to thank your community for recognizing when you became a chiropractic, it was an alternative understanding that turns out to be a more effective way to go in life. Right. So therefore, feel very positive about what you're doing. The questioning is only just to get you to lose your power. If you question who you are, then you have no power. In other words, if I'm walking across a bed of hot coals, I walk across that bed with the complete notion in my mind, the knowledge I am safe and I'm going to do this. But guess what? In the middle of that walk, all you have to do is just stop for 1 second and question whether you can do it. And that's the 1 second you get burned.
Right.
And the reality is we have to get out of the questioning part as healers and chiropractors and start recognizing the truth of Dee Dee and BJ and how they brought together the nature of its harmony and tone. That's what we need to work with. Forget the injections and the drugs.
Amen, brother. Yes, yes. Thank you.
Go on and create health, my dear friend. And Mark, thank you very much for this opportunity to be with you in this very important time of re-educating who we are.
Thank you and love you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're